Chapter 1. Frost glanced down as the bail officer placed the tracing bracelet around his ankle. There ya go, Frost. Always a pleasure. Frost glared at the officer as he shoved his pants leg down. Pax stood in front of the bail clerk board as she watched the cashier count the money. So Pax, how many guys did you have to blow to get this? Pax smirked while moving her toothpick to the side of her mouth. Well, your husband was customer number 59. The clerk's smile faded as she continued. Yeah, he loves it when you tug on his nuts just as he climaxes. You little bitch. The clerk looked as though she was about to bust through the glass until there was a huge bang on the counter. Pax jumped and cut her eyes to an angry Frost. Let's go. Frost nodded his head towards the door. Pax gruffed as she grabbed her bag. Frost followed behind. When they reached the outside, Frost broke the silence. Why do you have to bust people's balls? She was busting mine. And you're welcome, by the way. Pax jumped into the passenger seat as Frost got behind the wheel. Thank you. I highly appreciate it. Pax crossed her arms in front of her chest as she stared out the window. Frost sighed with relief as they entered their apartment. He reached down and petted their huge English Mastiff. Hey Samson. The dog never stirred. Pax sat down to her computer to check her new program's progress. Damn it. Frost strolled up as her looked over her to the screen. What's wrong? Pax angrily ran her hands through her hair. This hacking program is taking forever. My coding is always off just enough for it fail the coding cycle. This is our ticket out of here. Frost didn't know what to say. Pax pointed to the kitchen table. He sent you a new phone. Frost opened the box and examined it. You already put the block on. Pax didn't break her eye contact from her screen as she spoke. Yeah. How about the bracelet? Pax spun her chair towards him. Okay, let him see it. She attached a scrambler for the bracelet to read dead battery. She quickly removed it and placed it on Samson. Again the dog never stirred. Once placed on the dog, Pax removed the scrambler and smiled as she noticed the light had returned. Frost tossed the phone into his pocket and flicked her cheek. I gotta go play catch up. I'll be back, but don't wait up. Pax didn't say anything as he kissed her forehead. Frost sighed as he left. Joker sat in the club VIP section as he watched Harley play with her next victim. Fucking bored, he quietly thought as he rolled his head. Frost was escorted in by two other bouncers. Mr. J. Frost is back. Joker's head slowly turned to Frost with his silver smile. Damn good to see you. How'd ya get out so early? Frost adjusted his tie. Connections. Joker's smile eased. My. 50,000 isn't easy to come by so quick. Even for you, Frost. Who paid it? Frost's eyes was locked to his cold blue eyes. Pax did. Joker leaned back with a cocked eyebrow. Pax? Who's Pax? Why haven't I heard about them? Frost kept constant eye contact. She's a friend. I had a deal with her. Joker fluttered his fingers in the air. Well, please do tell. What kind of a deal? Is she your fuck buddy? Frost sneered. Fuck no. It's not like that. I mean, I don't see her like that. Joker leaned forward. Well, what kind of deal? Frost tilted his head from side to side. I stole her from another mob boss. She's a hacker. They were mistreating her. I was hired to kill her, because she stole a lot of money from a rival gang. When I saw how they held her against her will, I took her instead of killing her. She's been helping me ever since. Joker stood up and pointed to the other bodyguards to leave. Frost sat up straight as Joker sat next to him. Where is she now? Frost slowly turned his eyes to him. Why? Joker rubbed his shoulder. I need her. Frost leaned away. I promised her. Joker raised his finger to his lips. Here is the plan. Harley and I will go and get her. We will make her think you had nothing to do with it. Frost shook his head with concern. You promise you won't hurt her? Joker smiled. Cross my heart. Chapter 2. Pax had fallen asleep at her desk. She was awakened by a knock at the door. Samson sat up and huffed at the door. Pax slowly eased out of her chair as she noticed the doorknob turning. She tiptoed to the door and stood beside it. The lock gave away and the door eased open. Harley pushed it open and walked in. Joker followed. Pax held her breath and counted to herself. 1, 2. She gasped as Harley quickly revealed her hiding spot. Surprise. Pax gritted her teeth as she kicked the door and knocked Harley down in the process. Pax briefly paused as she noticed Joker angrily strutting from the back hallway as he removed his jacket. Shit. Pax took off down the apartment stairs. She stopped and looked up as Joker called to her as he hung over the banister. You can run but you can't hide, Pax. She ran to the second floor and ran through the hall. She lunged into a cracked door and shut it behind her. Pax's chest heaved as she noticed her neighbor sitting on her couch. Hi, Miss Jenkins. May I use your fire escape? Miss Jenkins gave a smile as Pax flashed a $100 bill. Be my guest, dear. Pax heaved the window open and scanned the scene. She eased out and shut the window. As soon as her feet touched the ground, she took off. Pax's fear returned as she heard Joker yell, Harley, she's on your left. Pax looked up and saw Harley's evil smile to match her cackle. Pax's eyebrows wrinkled as she watched Harley flip off the fire escapes like an acrobat. Harley heaved as she landed on her feet in front of her. She smiled as she blew a strand of hair out of her eyes. Pax turned and made a sprint to the other side of the street as she dodged cars. She screamed as she was grabbed and shoved into a dark alley. Pax turned with fury as she faced Joker. Where's Frost? Joker held up his hands as he walked to her. Pax backed up to match his steps. Calm down. We are all friends here. Frost is safe and sound. Pax shook her head as she saw Harley step into the alleyway as she followed him. Then why are you after me? I haven't done anything to you. Joker's smile grew bigger. Oh no, honey. It's what you're going to do for me. Pax had tears down her cheeks. And if I don't? Joker rolled his head. Do you really want to know? Pax lowered her head as she tried to collect her thoughts. When she raised her head, she was knocked out by Harley's fist. Harley dusted her hands and placed them on her hips. She turned to Joker as he cocked an angry brow. What? Joker sighed as he scooped up an unconscious Pax and headed to the SUV that had pulled up to the alley. Frost cocked a questionable look to Harley as she got in. She's fine, all right. I had to do something. The little scamp is strong and fast. Frost shook his head as he floored the SUV out of town. Samson whimpered from the back as the car lunged forward. Joker sat quietly as he looked down to Pax as she slept. He noticed her young features and wondered how old she was. She had fair skin even though she didn't wear much makeup. He cut his eyes towards the front as he noticed Frost watching him with white knuckles as he drove. Chapter 3. Pax grunted as she sat up in an unknown bed. Her body went stiff when he heard Joker's voice. Sleep well. Pax rolled her eyes to her captor. I want to see Frost. Pax leaned back as he took a seat beside her in bed. Frost is close, but I wanted you to know the terms. I never agreed to anything. She said with a sarcastic smile. Joker smiled and pointed his finger as he eased off the bed. You are so right, but wouldn't be a shame if your years of coding went down the drain? Or maybe the police could see all those hacked ATMs footage that you stole, not including the money. Pax looked past him as she spoke. What do you want? Joker eased back down beside her as he tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I'll pay you to hack 3 systems for me. You'll stay until it's finished. Once you're done, why, you're free to go. Pax turned her worried expression to his smile. Just 3. Joker looked at her lips, then her eyes, and nodded. Pax sighed. What about Harley? Joker leaned back with a pouty lip. What about her? I want her to leave me alone. Her face was stern. Joker held out his hand for her to shake it. I'll keep her on her leash. Pax released her grasp from his as she noticed the loud music coming from downstairs. Where are we? A penthouse above one of my establishments. You should come down and enjoy the show. He eased off the bed and started out the door. He stopped when he heard her voice. Where is Frost? Joker turned back only a little. You'll see him tomorrow. Pax pulled her knees to her chest as he closed the door. She rocked herself as she hummed a tune for comfort. This feeling of being a prisoner was too familiar. She eased off the bed as walked to the window. She looked out over the night view of Gotham. She silently laughed to herself. A prison with a view. Chapter 4. Pax was up and ready to search the penthouse by 8 a.m. She eased down the stairs as quietly as she could. She abruptly stopped as she turned the corner as she noticed a man sitting on the living area sofa with a bored expression on his face. Oswald sat straight as he placed his hands in his lap. And you are? Pax tilted her head slightly as she walked to the stranger. I was about to ask you the same thing. Oswald smirked. Are you a new toy? Pax squinted angrily at the man. Toy. Ya no. His new obsession. Oswald rolled his eyes. Pax heaved out a laugh. Is that why you're here? Oswald's smile faded. Excuse me. Are you worried I'm taking your place? Ya know I don't like to take it up the rear, but you.